What would happen if you had a Godzilla-like player on your team? Maybe for the Georgia Bulldogs, they've got just that. That's the way that Kirby Smart described Jordan Davis after Saturday's win over Kentucky, number 10, number 11 Kentucky, coming to Athens and leaving with a 30-13 loss to the Dogs. And one of the major reasons why was Jordan Davis. And when you look at the path of Jordan to Georgia, a really unheralded recruit, a three-star guy, and a guy that wound up at Georgia primarily, I would say, because Trey Scott left Carolina and went to Georgia, so he had sort of already identified him. And Jordan, this is a kind of a longer story. Here's what Kirby had to say after the game on Saturday. He said, asking about Jordan Davis, Godzilla-like, he's impactful. He's the immovable object. When he buys into staying healthy and keeping his weight down, he's really a good player. He has bought into that. He understands it's important, and the young man is under a tremendous microscope in terms of media for defensive linemen. Kirby's right about that. I mean, he's getting a lot of attention for sure. Maybe not for a quarterback, for a defensive lineman, he's under a microscope. He does everything he can to the best of his ability. He works hard for us. He's been impactful in stopping the run and allowing us to play alternative coverages that you can't sometimes play when people can run the ball on you. He's definitely a bright spot, and more importantly, he's very entertaining in meetings, and he's a great personality. That's true. People don't know him. People who don't know him should get to know him because he's just fun and fun to be around. Embrace him. Well, we would love to talk to Jordan more often, but we really get him about maybe once a month. He did do SEC Media Days. When you went to go see Jordan play in high school, he did not stand out because he was playing left tackle on offense. I went to go see Zamir play in 2017, I think. And obviously, I've talked about this a lot, but that was the most impressive high school performance of any person I've ever seen play live, was what Zamir did to Jordan Davis's team at Mallard Creek that night. But Jordan was massive, but he was playing left tackle. And his first year at Georgia, the defensive staff kind of thought he was going to need a year. But by the time the Florida game rolled around, here comes Jordan, and they knew they had to play him. And that really stopped Florida's ability to run in any meaningful way. So from that point forward, it's been a fight for Jordan to keep his weight in check. That's been something that all big people like me. I mean, obviously, I'm not big like Jordan is, but it is something you have to watch as a person of size. For him, it's going to mean millions and millions of dollars difference. Him coming back is probably one of the smartest decisions that he made in his life because by coming back, he's opening himself up to be, I mean, certainly a first-round guy. Okay, the question is, how high will Jordan go? And this season, he's been getting a lot of attention for what he's done, or really what he's not allowed other teams to do. And that brings me to my next point, or point of discussion, which is, should Jordan really be a Heisman candidate? And I'm a Heisman voter. There's not a lot of us. Only about 1,000 of us in across the country. And for me, he would have to do more to win the award. I really don't know how you could justify a defensive player who plays situationally. That's probably the wrong way to put it, but goes off the field. He's not on the field every single down. It's hard to justify a defensive player winning that award. I mean, when Charles Woodson beat out Peyton Manning, that shouldn't have happened. And for Champ Bailey not to get something similar in recognition a year later was confusing, however you want to call it. But for Jordan, I mean, he's not made a play that's going to replay over and over and over again on social media or on television. That's not something that's happened. He doesn't have the ability to go score 3 touchdowns or lead someone down the field to drive. On a drive to win the game. That's what quarterbacks have the ability to do. There's no dominant running back right now, so this is going to probably be decided by a quarterback. With all that said, I don't know that he doesn't deserve being in New York, though. I mean, he is probably the best player on Georgia's team that's played this season so far. I mean, George Pickens hasn't played, so, and then JT has been out, but when you look at Jordan and all he brings, which is an ability to have the other team not run, or at least not run effectively, that sets the foundation that is Georgia's defense. And if it's the number one team in the country and it's the number one unit on that team, or the number one unit in college football, then their most invaluable player has to get some sort of look. Georgia has not started pushing Jordan as a Heisman guy. I can't remember the last time Georgia pushed anyone to be a Heisman guy. I think it's been since Quincy Carter in 2000. So that's been sort of the mindset at Georgia. But beyond maybe David Pollock, perhaps one of those seasons, no Sean, not necessarily Matthew was, there's not yet been someone who's really jumped to the forefront and been a player that's been so dominant. Like when Nick had a great 2017, he also had Sony. He also had DeAndre Swift. So they had some really good players on that team. But it's really a quarterback award. And Georgia's had solid quarterbacks in the last 20 years. But beyond Aaron Murray, none of them have been great college football quarterbacks in ways that are sort of undeniable. When you look at Matthew in 2018, didn't beat Alabama, didn't beat Florida. Those were both games that were so critical. And by the end of the season, he was an afterthought. Everyone knew he was going number one overall, but he was an afterthought. For Jordan to work his way to New York, I think Georgia has to probably win the conference, perhaps just get there. We'll see. But there's going to have to be a couple more plays. If you're really trying to do this, then you get him to score a touchdown. I mean, that's just all there is to it. And scoring a touchdown on defense or scoring a touchdown as a tight end or a fullback, that totally would get people's attention. He would become Refrigerator Perry of college football 2021. But, the guy is jovial, jolly. He's very happy to be where he's at, whether it's on the field or when he's meeting with us. I have not heard much bad about Jordan, if at all. I mean, I think the behind the scenes, I think the biggest concern with Jordan is weight and conditioning and making sure that he's in the right space. Georgia did not have Jordan Davis going in the Florida game last year. He wasn't the only one. And Florida ran effectively. They didn't run all over Georgia, but they ran effectively. It was enough. They're not going to be able to do that this year. It's going to be a different ball game. Well, they're not going to be able to run with their running backs like that, I don't think. Not in the middle of the field. This is going to be a real challenge for Florida to get down there and run the ball effectively with all the chaos that's going on down there. You don't know who the quarterback is. You already got 3 losses. This is a real, flashing red light time in Gainesville. And Jordan Davis is one of the reasons why this is going to be a real challenge for the Gators to win this game. But when you talk about Godzilla, when you talk about being impactful, he has been as impactful a defensive player since Roquan, and then maybe back to guys like David Pollock, Seymour, and Stroud. He is a first-round level guy. He might not be the only first-round guy on this defense, but he's a first-round level guy for sure. And he's a first-round guy that immediately prevents you from going sort of in this 8-yard area in between the tackles. People can't do it. I mean, that was Kentucky's ball game, was physical running in between the tackles, so physical run game. UAB did it a little bit, but not necessarily while Jordan was out there. When you can take away people hitting forehands all day long, or doing a layup drill, sports becomes a lot harder, and that's what Jordan Davis gives Georgia the ability to do. Let's talk more about Jordan over on the website. We'll see you over there, dogpost.com. See you on the website.